That special time of the year is here once again in Southern Ohio, and we're kicking things off 24 hours early on this Thursday night in P-Town as the Trojans are set to host the Valley Indians in a season opening matchup here tonight. Alongside my dad, Tim Daly, I'm Dewey Daly, coming to you from the Trojan Coliseum here in Portsmouth, as both of these teams are going to look to start off their 2023 seasons with a win. These two teams have met up quite a bit, and most recently it's been a lot of Portsmouth. They've won the last 6 meetings, as we discussed on our overtime podcast. Actually it released today, but it was filmed on Tuesday, so if you haven't had a chance to go check that out, maybe do that at halftime or after the game. That is just on the podcast tab on our YouTube channel. But for this matchup here tonight, Portsmouth coming off of a 7-5 season, 5-2 overall in the OVC. For Valley, it was a 3-8 year a year ago, 1-4 in the SOC2. Last year's matchup was a 40-28 win for the Trojans, but they've lost a lot, and as has Valley. For the Trojans, they lose their quarterback. They did not have a single player coming back that tallied a carry last year. And then they lose a lot of top receivers as well, including Devin Lattimore, who transferred to Wheelersburg. For the Trojans, who is returning, the only player with 100 receiving yards is Chase Highland. He had 14 catches for 153 yards last year. They do come in with a freshman quarterback in Cameron Williams and new running back Nick Copley. They also have a couple familiar faces on the outside, but not as many who produced last year, as once again they did graduate a lot. As for Valley, they come in with a sophomore quarterback as they graduated George Arnett, who a season ago tallied over 1,400 yards passing, about 15 touchdowns, and also managed to scramble in about 2 or 3 times as well. So accounted for just about 20 touchdowns for the Indians, and they lose a ton, as not only in football, but across all boys sports. That 2022 class was, or I should say that 2023 class was huge for the Indians. So they come in with sophomore quarterback Carson Powell, sophomore tailback Gabe McNeil, and then they also return Jake and Rideout and Aiden Waddle, or I should say Wattell. Those were the 4 main returners for the Indians. It's good to be back up in the booth and excited to get things going here a day early on Thursday. We'll be over in Waverly tomorrow night when they take on Miami Trace, so it should be a good 1-2 punch to get this season going.
Well, you couldn't ask, weather-wise. I mean, you really couldn't ask for a better opening night. There's a few clouds in the sky, but there's also a little bit of a breeze. And let's face it, in mid-August, we could be sitting out here talking about 100 degrees and whatnot. And actually, it's real comfortable for us, and I would assume, pretty comfortable for them down there. That turf probably is a little warm on the feet, but again, being the middle of August, I would certainly take this any day of the week.
So Valley going to boot it away here to start things off in 2023. Jalen Bender, a sophomore, on to kick it away. 2 men back deep for the Trojans. Number 2, Chase Highland, and number 4, Landon Malone. Just a pooch kick straight up the middle. It's recovered by the Trojans' number 5, Trevin Brooks, and we'll get our first look at this Portsmouth offense right around their own 46, 47-yard line here at the Trojan Coliseum.
I was going to say, too, Portsmouth had their guys sitting back there at about the 7 or 8 yard line. I did not see anybody in warm-ups from Valley kicking the ball anywhere near that. And I'm not 100% sure that was intentional. I'm really not.
Ball spotted at the Trojan 48-yard line. I formation here for the Trojans. Freshman Cameron Williams under center.
It's unbalanced this way. Heck yeah.
Handoff to the left side, up the middle, and out to the outside to the numbers, and taken down around the 45-yard line is number 2, Chase Highland.
I mean, they had tight and twins to the boundary here, and the right tackle would have been eligible.
Starting offensive line for the Trojans from left to right. At left tackle, Leo Paxis. Left guard, Charles Fletcher. Center, Dylan Sanderlin. Right guard, Landon Bourne. And right tackle, Wesley Runyon.
Now they're in the right eye.
Same formation here for the Trojans. This time, handoff right up the middle. That's Levon Cobb. Nowhere to go. Tackled for a loss. That's Zach Witt as well as Blake Lundy in on the tackle. That'll bring up A 3rd and 4 here for Portsmouth.
Actually, again, a little fullback trap. Nothing doing. Nothing doing.
3rd down and 4 here for the
Unbalanced,
Trojans.
unbalanced. See it unbalanced to the field. They're going to run right off tackle right, watch.
Pitch to the right side, that's Highland to the hatches. He's got some room to the right side, starting off 2023 with a touchdown from 46 yards. Trojans out in front first.
The same different side of the field, but same formation. They ran on 1st down successfully for about 6 or 7 yards. Now, they handed the ball off tackle down here. This was more of a toss sweep, but Valley just outnumbered and had no answer. And the kid had really good speed. The swinging gate.
Portsmouth going to go for 2 here. Airing it out into the end zone, and it's caught by number 28, Noah Livingston. The 2-point conversion is good, and the Trojans are out in front 8-0 here with 10:38 to go in the first. We'll take a quick break. You're watching Ohio High School football right here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio.
At Ohio Health, you can see your doctor here or here, on this or on these. And no matter if you're over here, over there, or anywhere in between, you'll feel good knowing Ohio Health provides the finest care anywhere. Schedule care today at ohiohealth.com/finestcare.
Here at Glockner's, we know how valuable your time is, and that's why our priority is to provide you a quick and easy service. We will get you in and out and on your way immediately. So schedule your next service appointment at Glockner.com.
We have a 5-play drive capped off by a 46-yard rushing touchdown for Chase Highland, and a successful 2-point conversion has Portsmouth out in front 8-0 here in the early minutes of this Thursday night matchup. Dad, you want to take us through that last play there for the Trojans?
Sure. They come out in what I would call a regular I-right formation, and they end up flopping or switching the right tackle and the tight end, so they end up unbalanced to the field. But when they went unbalanced to the boundary, they ran handoff sweep. There they ran toss sweep, and I mean the problem is you got everybody blocked defensively, and with the speed that the kid had from Portsmouth, had no answer for it. I mean, you run that play back, if that's flag football, 2-hand touch, 1-hand touch, anything. The guy didn't get touched. We'll see it again. I promise you, we'll see it again. And I know it's early, but I think Lucasville I don't think they have to score, but they got to put a couple of first downs together, or this could get maybe even a little bit out of hand early.
Get our first look now at this Indian offense led by sophomore quarterback Carson Powell. They also return Gabe McNeil, who a season ago had 51 carries for 320 yards and 4 touchdowns. We have a flag before the play.
It's illegal procedure. Oh, they got them offside. I think that's the wrong call, but
have encroachment on the Trojans, so that'll move Valley up 5 yards for a 1st and 5 on their own 25.
Now I'm going to guess they're going to run the same play. What it was a bubble screen, and it was cover 2. And a bubble screen against a cover 2 like that, okay, same formation. Now watch. See, they got everybody blocked.
Ball spotted on the 26
See?
in the shotgun. Out to the right side. That's McNeil.
Same
He's got some
play.
room down the
He's
sideline. Nobody's going to catch him. Gabe McNeil, what you can do, I can do better. 74 yards to the house.
I don't want to sit here and tell you. I told you they'd run the same play. That's the play they showed on 1st down. And Portsmouth can't run that. You can't run that coverage against that. You got everybody blocked. And that kid ain't pulling the plow either. That kid's not pulling the plow either.
Valley on to try the point after. Long snapper, that is kicker Jalen Bender on for the PAT.
But that kid's a sophomore. The halfway
Kick
decent
is
kick.
up and good on top of the shed there beyond the uprights. And this game is a one-point game through just a little under 2 minutes here in the first quarter. We'll take a quick break. You're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Michelle and her dad. Decades of dares. 1 month of learning to jump. First day doing it solo. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie and Son Trucking. Willie and Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willie and Son Trucking each week at SOSAOhio.com.
8-7 Trojan lead here. Under 2 minutes of game time so far. 2 long touchdowns for both teams. A successful 2-point conversion for Portsmouth has them out in front by 1.
He ain't gonna kick it past.
Last time Jalen Bender kicked, it didn't go very far, and this time it will not either. It's caught once again by Trevin Brooks, this time a little deeper into his own territory. This time they'll start off on their own 40.
Kid that had to make a Willie Mays Hayes catch. Okay. Wow. Well, I guess that solves one issue. He did do that on purpose the first time too. Okay, see how it's tight right? No, it's not. It's their same thing. This is what they opened up with.
Same formation this time. It's Nick Copley as the fullback. Handoff to Highland. Cuts it back up the middle and close to midfield. Nearly has a first down. It'll be a 2nd and short here for the Trojans.
Okay, that was unbalanced left. Handoff. Not toss, but handoff. What we would call 57.
Just now over 2 minutes of game time here in the first quarter. 2nd down and 2 on the Trojan 48, middle of the field.
Watch.
2 receivers to the left, 2-man backfield here for Portsmouth. This time a fake handoff, rolling out to his right is Williams. Looking downfield, he'll take it himself. Maybe a yard there down the far sideline. It should be a 3rd and 1 here for Portsmouth.
He had Colin Perry early, 14, on the little drag-up route. I'm not, can't tell from this angle whether or not he could see him or not, but I know he was looking at the sticks. That's why he pulled it down. But he just wasn't enough room for him to get there.
No gain on the play for Williams. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 2 on the right hash for Portsmouth. 2 receiver set here, tight end Noah Livingston on the right side. I formation here for Portsmouth. Handoff to Highland once again, tackled in the backfield. Fighting for a first down. He'll come up about a yard short. That'll force a 4th down here for Portsmouth.
I mean, I honestly believe that Lucasville is holding their own physically up front. They've just been out. They've been formationed a couple of times, but physically, I think they're fine.
4th and about 2 feet here for Portsmouth. Looks like, as of now, going to go for it here. I formation with Copley and Highland in the backfield. Under center is Williams.
She's hit the edge.
QB sneak here for Williams. Stood up at the line. Looks like he's got it.
Yeah, he got it. I looked at that and thought it was 8, but it's 6.
When asked about this upcoming season, Coach Bruce Kalb did say this was going to test if the team could rebuild or reload coming into this season. Said they did graduate a lot, but that this was the biggest and strongest they've been up front in quite some time, and that was one thing he was going to look forward to this year. And right there, I think we got a good look at that. That was more or less lineman on lineman there. And
well, I can assure you this, he picked up the first down because the running back hit him right square in the back and aided the runner, which isn't a penalty anymore.
New set of downs now on the Indian side
He's
of
got
the
a gap.
field.
He's got a gap.
Williams to the left side. He's got some room down the sideline and out of bounds. That should be enough, or at least close to another Trojan first down, as it looked like.
Yeah, it's first down.
It may have been a broken play, and Williams, using his instincts, was able to get out of the pocket to the left side, past the numbers, and move to the sticks for Portsmouth.
Again, the golden rule for a quarterback is if you miss the timing of a play, run where the play was designed to be run. I really do believe that was a handoff sweep or an off-tackle play, and he ended up running the gap. And to tell you the truth, they had it blocked pretty well at the line of scrimmage and at the second level.
First time we haven't seen Portsmouth go with an I formation. This time it's Copley and then a bunch right, as well as Nathaniel Berry to the left. It's going to be a pitch to the right. That's Copley to the hash, up past the 35 and taken down around the 34-yard line. Looks like a pickup of about 6 or 7 there. It'll bring up the 7 and medium, 2nd and short here for the Trojans.
Good, tough physical run. A little bit better block by the wide out there. I'm not sure quite again because we don't have the angle whether he set the block up well enough, but actually a pretty good play by the kid from Lucasville.
Levon Cobb back in the game for the Trojans. We've seen him and Copley rotate so far through these first 2 Trojan drives.
Left.
Williams under center. He'll hand it off to Highland right up the middle to the 30, a couple of yards after that before being pushed back. Looks like we'll have a mark right at the 28-yard line, so that'll be close to a Trojan first down.
Again, just a simple old-fashioned isolation play. A lot of paint traded on that play. Good physical play. Again, I think Lucasville Valley's physically fine up front.
I'll take a moment to give a big thank you to Carson Francis doing the camera work for us tonight, as he has for nearly the past year and a half, 2 years here at SOSA. So thank you, Carson, for doing the camera work for us. Same formation here. Handoff. Highland right up the middle. That's going to be good enough for a Trojan first down. Looks like the ball will be spotted right at the 26.
Again, just power football by Portsmouth. Short yardage, power football, old-fashioned Jim Thorpe type football.
Also want to give a big thank you to I would assume the athletic department here at Portsmouth, who provided Gaddy's Pizza before the game, as they did last year in that Week 2 game against West as well. A pretty good setup here at the Trojan Coliseum.
Well, I'd tell you, if there's any athletic directors out there listening, take notes.
Williams hands it off. Highland once again hit in the backfield. That looks like Zach Witt first made contact before the rest of the Valley Indians defense came in to make the tackle. Good play there for Valley.
Again, these guys aren't road graders up here. Again, just a little tailback counter play, and really nothing doing. Did Barnett make that play?
Zach Witt.
Okay.
First to the ball. Looks like Levon Cobb lined up his quarterback here, or excuse me, he's to the left. That's still Williams. He'll take it himself to the left side, as a couple pulling linemen out to the numbers to the 20 before being tackled by number 13, Brendan Weiss. It's like a pickup of nearly 7 or 8 yards on the play. That'll bring up a third down and short here for Portsmouth.
And again, if you saw the play, kind of a zone read concept, but I can tell you that looked like a predetermined keep.
Well, he had a couple pulling linemen
yes,
as well.
Yeah, I don't think he was reading anything. Well, you can decoy that with that too, but I don't think they were decoying anybody.
I formation here. Noah Livingston moving from
They're
left to
running
right.
Off tackle right.
Hand off to Highland once again up the middle across the 15 before
First
being
down.
taken down. That'll be another Trojan first down, nearly in the red zone here with
Again.
4:18 to go in the quarter.
Again, to me, looking at the way that Portsmouth has motioned thus far, the motion will take you to the play. They're counting on Valley not adjusting, and they did adjust a little bit, but again, pretty well blocked play by Portsmouth and pick up the necessary yards.
Under 4 minutes to go here in the opening quarter of this Thursday night matchup between Portsmouth and Valley.
Tripp's right.
Ball gets away from Williams. Ball is loose. It looks like the Trojans are back on top of it. It'll be a loss of about 3 yards on the play. Tight end Noah Livingston able to jump on top of the ball like a hand grenade. That'll save things for the Trojans. Second down and 13.
And he's right, too. Okay, Twins to the boundary.
Two receivers to the left, have tight end Livingston to the right. Fakes the handoff, rolling out to his right, dumps it off. That's Livingston, the tight end. Breaks a couple tackles before being taken down by Zach Witt and Blake Lundy. Pushed out of bounds on the far sideline. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 8.
Again, if you're paying attention, I think that's the second time that they've gotten that pistol look. And here's what makes no sense to me. They're running trips this way, but they're booting into the single receiver side. And they've done that both times that they've done it. Now, to me, you want to run some type of flood concept and have choices. Now, I honestly think if he pulled it down, he would have picked up just as much yardage or maybe a few more yards. But again, a manageable 3rd and 7.
Trojans now on the right hash in the shotgun. Williams has Cobb to his right. Fakes the handoff under a ton of pressure and taken down by the Indians in Tyler Carver in there to make the play. That'll force a 4th down here for the Trojans, and a field goal is definitely in play as kicker Zach Roth trots onto the field.
Again, I'm going to tell you that was predetermined to keep, because the bottom line is if he had given it, I think there was hay to be made over here. This kid, I think, had a legitimate leg in warm-ups.
27-yarder, a bad snap. Kick is on the way.
Look good
Blitz
to me.
the uprights and is good. That pushes the Trojan lead to 4 at 11-7. We'll take a quick break. You're watching Ohio High School football right here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
There's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. That's the slogan, and that's what we believe at Par-Mar stores. From groceries to gas and all the other stuff you need, Par-Mar has it. Download the Par-Mar app for even more savings, and don't forget the Par-Mar rewards card too. We also believe in being a big part of your community, so look for us at the ball game or wherever you are. Shop us today, like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and remember, if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
This presentation of high school sports on Southern Ohio Sports Authority is brought to you in part by your local McDonald's. McDonald's proudly supports all area athletes again this season. Visit your local McDonald's in Chillicothe, Circleville, Greenfield, and Waverly, and be sure to check out SOSA's newly relaunched podcast, Overtime, presented by McDonald's.
A long time-consuming drive capped off by a 27-yard Zach Roth field goal has the Trojans out to an 11-7 lead here with 1:42 to go in the first quarter.
Again, if you're standing over on the Lucasville sideline or in the stands, probably pretty pleased with that defensive stand there to make him kick the field goal.
Following the field goal, Zach Roth on to boot it away. Caught by Aiden Wattell around his own 10-yard line, across the 25, out to the numbers. He's got some space down the near sideline before being pushed out of bounds right at the 42-yard line. That's where the Indians will start off their second drive of the night.
That's Portsmouth's second drive.
So there's been 3 drives so far. The first 2 took all of about a minute and a half, and then the second one took nearly 8 minutes. Or took nearly 9 minutes, about 8.5. So,
yeah, and we're like, where did the first quarter go? I kind of blanked out. I thought we might have 30 or 40 points scored the first quarter.
There's 10:19 remaining after the Valley touchdown, and then Portsmouth ran it down to about a minute 42. And now Valley back out for their second drive on their own 42. Carson Powell in the shotgun. Running back Gabe McNeil to his right. He'll hand it off to McNeil to the left side. Taken down in the backfield. That's Nick Copley making the play for the Trojans.
Again, Valley just as guilty as ever. They motioned the fullback to get a little leverage out there and run the outside, kind of not a jet, but a handoff sweep. And Nick Copley said, I ain't having any of that. Now they're behind the sticks, which probably really complicates their offense.
Second down and 16, under a minute to play here in the first.
A little 2x2, what we call rocket.
Only pass from Powell so far has been a screen to McNeil. This time he'll look to pass, airing it out downfield. It's nearly caught by Jake and right out. We will have a flag on the play. Right up the right hash. It looks like it's going to be either pass interference or holding. It will be pass interference on the Trojans. That'll move the sticks for the Indians.
Now remember that Portsmouth got burned on the little bubble screen that ended up turning into about 75 yards. They're now, instead of cover 3, they're running man free. And if they don't get pressure on the quarterback, they're going to have problems too. But I can tell you this. If he holds that another beat longer, the free safety gets on that route. He was close to being on that route as it was. Yeah, it's still man-free. They're just saying our guys are better than your guys.
Second down and 1. I thought pass interference was automatic first down either way. It's Gabe McNeil to the right side, taken down in the backfield. That's linebacker Noah Livingston making the tackle for Portsmouth. Now 3rd and 4 for the Indians. I thought it may not be up to the spot of the penalty, but I thought a pass interference was an automatic first down.
So did I.
But it put him up to about 2nd down and 1. The McNeil run lost him about 4 yards, and it is now 3rd down and 4.
And if anything, really, it may have been holding more than anything. They're not going to get a playoff.
We do have play clocks, and it's about a 4-second differential, so Valley just going to trot off the field. And we will step aside. The Trojans out in front, 11-7. After 1, you're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio.
See everything Southern Ohio Sports Authority presented by Ohio Health has to offer by visiting our website at sosaohio.com for complete coverage of area athletes and teams, including game stories, features, live streams of games, player and coach interviews, nightly scores, area standings, and much more. You can even view and purchase action photos from our more than 100 galleries. That's sosaohio.com for the best local sports coverage around.
Are you in a bind and need an oil change right now? No problem. Did you forget to make an appointment? No problem. Just stop by any Glockner location and we'll squeeze you in and get you on the road quickly. Really, it's
an 11-7 Trojan lead here at the Trojan Coliseum in P-Town on this Thursday night matchup, 24 hours in advance before the rest of Southern Ohio get things going. And we will be down in Tigertown tomorrow night as the Tigers take on the Miami Trace Panthers in their Week 1 matchup. That should be a fun one as well. But for tonight, Dad, what have you seen so far from both of these teams?
Well, it's funny to me that both teams have come out. Now, if you ask me, Portsmouth made the necessary adjustments to correct the gash play that they gave up. Lucasville, Portsmouth didn't even show the flopping unbalance that second possession. Of course, they had the ball 8.5 minutes and 14 plays. They just weren't able to finish the drive. But I'm telling you up front, this is an even-Steven game.
3rd and 4 here for the Indians. Wildcat for McNeil. He'll take the snap and take it himself across the 49 and trickles across the 50. Nearly has a first down. It looks like he'll be about a yard or a little less than that
about
short.
A half a yard.
First time we've seen McNeil line up in the Wildcat. You figure, well, they know we're running it. We might as well just snap it to the guy that's running the ball.
And I can tell you, too, I realize this is the second play of the second quarter, but it looks like to me, no question, Lucasville is going to roll the dice here. Now, when the whole night's over, I'm not saying this could be a pivotal play, but this could be a play that we look back to and say, somebody grabbed control of the game. If Portsmouth can get a stop here, if Lucasville can pick up a first down, we'll just have to see what happens. Same formation, same play.
Once again, McNeil
Same
in
play.
the Wildcat.
Same play.
Needs about 2 footballs
See,
to
same
get the
play.
first down.
Motioned away from it. He ain't going to get there. Okay. So Portsmouth now, basically, that ends up being a turnover. And the problem that I have with that, if you're Lucasville, is you just showed them that play. Now, what they did was they brought the wing over to the near side and motioned him back over where he was the play before. But regardless, how many times has 33 been the quarterback? Twice. He's run the same play both times. You gotta have probably a little bit more than that. And if Portsmouth, and I'm not saying it's key because we're still very early in the second period, but they can get a little bit of control right here this football game.
So Portsmouth will take over right at midfield, close to the left hash.
Pistol. So they've booted out of this before.
Williams, a handoff to Cobb, right up the middle, nowhere to go. Lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. Looks
he
like
didn't get squat.
Braxton Conaway, as well as Tristan Wood, as well as a couple other Indians, were on to make the play. Ball marked right at the 50-yard line, so no gain on the play. 2nd and 10 here.
Yeah, I think Tristan Wood's a good football player. He's been involved in nearly everything up front. And that play, if you look at it, was basically run away from him, and he got to the play.
Pistol formation here for the Trojans, a little closer to midfield now as they've moved
Now watch
slightly
him
to
run.
the right of
This
the
will
left
be
hash.
boot. No,
Screen
bubble
play
screen.
here, airs it out to Highland. He has not a lot of room, maybe a yard gained on the play. And that'll bring up a 3rd down and 9.
Again, great reaction, great open field tackling by the secondary, the entire secondary of Lucasville Valley. If I'm Portsmouth, I'm looking at something unbalanced here because they weren't even close to it before, and they haven't gone back to it since we've seen it.
3rd down and 9 here for the Trojans, set up on the left hash. Shotgun formation here for Portsmouth alongside Williams. It's Cobb in the backfield.
Should be boot this way. Yep.
Williams
yep,
rolling
yep.
out to the right. Looking downfield to throw. It's tipped by number 11, Blake Lundy. And that'll force a 4th and 9 for the Trojans. Good play there from Lundy.
That ball was intended for 2, which is Chase Heelan, who lined up in the slot, and he was open, but the ball was tipped not by the guy that was defending him. It was the level 2 guy got a hand on it. And again, I don't know what you guys saw. I think he could have pulled it down and made 7 or 8 yards.
Portsmouth, as of now, going to elect to try their luck here on this 4th down and 9.
I absolutely would punt this. Yeah, he's going to quick kick it.
Williams is in the book as the punter. He gets it away. Nobody back originally for the Indians, so this one will roll. And
Again,
it'll
I think
stop
that's
right
smart
at the 16-yard line before being downed by Nathaniel Berry, and that is where the Valley Indians will start their 3rd drive.
Well, again, give Lucasville Valley some credit defensively here because basically they turned the ball over at midfield, and in 3 plays, these guys gained about 2 yards. So Lucasville, in my opinion, right now defensively, hanging right in there. Now we'll see if they can, put a couple of. They don't have to go score or anything, but they do have to make a couple of first downs and try to flip this field back.
1st down and 10 on their own 16-yard line.
Straight man.
Carson Powell back in the game. Fakes the handoff to the right, a jet pass to McNeil. He's taken down right at the 14-yard line, so a loss of 2 there for the Indians.
Again, getting behind the sticks probably doesn't help, the play calling for Lucasville. But in man, the bubble screens and the slip screens and the quick stuff, that can be dangerous. And again, Portsmouth has made the adjustment from cover 3 to man. And, Lucasville hasn't done a very good job of establishing a running game. And now they've got themselves behind the sticks.
Second down and 13. Ball is on
Man free.
the Indian 14-yard line. Powell looking downfield, nobody home, looking for Jake and right out, right at the 20-yard line. That'll set up a third down and long here for Valley.
Again, outstanding, and I like this Copley kid a lot. Outstanding coverage. It's probably good that that pass was fairly inaccurate, because if it was accurate, that might have been 6 the other way. But now Portsmouth, right now is pretty well set up to take the ball back, maybe, definitely for sure on the plus side of the field. You just got to make one more play here.
Third down and 12.
Straight man.
Carson Powell, the quarterback. Zach Witt to his right.
I'm guessing 2 will run on, get on the roof. Nope.
Straight drop back. Powell under some pressure. He'll dump it off over the middle. It's caught by Brendan Weiss. He's lucky to have gained a yard as he's tackled right at the 16-yard line. That'll force a 4th and 10 here for Valley as the punt unit jogs onto the field.
And again, with Portsmouth being in that straight man, you don't get open against man by running vertically down the field. You got to get across the field and create separation to make yourself a target. I think Portsmouth's going to pick up the ball here, probably somewhere underneath the plus 40.
We are currently having some camera issues, but we'll look to.
Great punt. Great coverage. What do you got on that punt, Brucey? That had to be 40. 45, yeah. That ball nearly turned over. I didn't see anybody kicking that ball like that in warm-ups. Again, Portsmouth takes over on the minus 47-yard line on the right hash. So boundary to the right and field to the left. First down. Twins right, tight right eye. Valley in the forefront. 57. Again, the oldest double down kick out. Oldest play in football. Gained about 3 yards, 2nd and 7, middle of the field. Actually, he only gave him 2 yards, so it's 2nd and 8. Again, I'm surprised that Portsmouth hasn't jumped back and shown that unbalanced look again. Had great success with it first possession of the game. And again, there's some strategy to that. You want to save it and show it when you need it. But, I mean, this game is still up for grabs.
2nd down and 8. On their own 49-yard line. Williams rolling out to his right, dumps it off Highland. He's got the first down and a little bit more, move the sticks for the Trojans.
Good concept. Mid what we would call a grass or an arrow. Good throw, good accurate throw on the run. That's hard to defend that stuff.
New set of downs here for Portsmouth, now in Indian territory on the Valley 41-yard line. Not having any trouble moving the ball so far.
And again, that was all made possible by the tight end running a seam route and clearing that area out. Trips to the field.
Williams and Copley in the backfield for the Trojans. He hands it off. That's Copley to the left side. He's to the hash, breaks some tackles, and is across the first down marker and has about 4 more yards before being taken down by number 11, number 13, Brendan Weiss.
And he didn't do that in the nicest sort of way either, did he? Let me tell you something.
Down for Portsmouth.
As a football player, you don't want somebody to tackle you that way. That hurts more than anything. That hurts. I mean, that hurts.
First and 10 on the Valley 27-yard line.
Right.
I formation here for the Trojans.
Isolation.
Williams hands it off. That's Highland. Tackled at the line of scrimmage, maybe gained about 2 yards. So it'll be a 2nd down and 8. Looks like Tristan Wood in on the tackle for Valley.
Again, just a fullback lead play, and I don't know if he's trying to stretch that or not, like a zone concept. But to me, the tailback, if he needs to be a little bit more patient, let that play develop a little bit. I think he got up inside the block too fast when he could have got up in the block and maybe picked up another 3 or 4 yards.
Same formation here for Portsmouth with Copley and Highland in the backfield. Pitch to the right, that's Highland. He has Copley lead blocking, a nice block pickup out to the numbers, down the sideline, and another first down for the Trojans.
Now, you didn't notice it, Dewey, but that was unbalanced. They came out of the huddle unbalanced. That was guard and tack or tight end to the top, and they ran where the unbalanced people are. So they haven't forgotten about it.
First and goal on the Valley 6-yard line here for Portsmouth.
Now this is where you really can go unbalanced and just try to go, butt on butt here.
Trojans looking to take a 2-score lead here in the first half. I formation.
They're running to the right.
Levon Cobb and Chase Island.
Oh.
Handoff Highland. Cobb lead blocking, tackled about the 3-yard line, so that'll bring up a second and goal here for Portsmouth.
Again, just old-fashioned fullback lead, trying to create an edge or knock something out and get up inside the edge. There was a big bubble over here on the right. That's why I thought they were running right.
Ball is spotted on the 2-yard line here for Portsmouth.
Well, I can tell you this. Oh, wait. Copley's not in there. I think Heelan gets this ball. Yeah.
And off to Highland, up the middle and into the end zone. Touchdown, Trojans. Another time-consuming drive for the Trojans. Highland now 13 carries, 103 yards, and a score.
Say that again.
13 carries for 103 yards and a score.
103 yards. Come on now. And makes it a sentence.
On for the PAT is Zach Roth. It is good, and the Trojans out
Did
to
that
an
go?
18-7
Did
lead.
that go over the net? Because that looked like some kind of. It's on the roof. That ball never was higher than the net, was it? It was. I mean, I thought it was a halfway decent kick, but I'm fully sitting there watching it going to hit this net, and I'm thinking, how did that go over the net? And that net's about the height to the top of the uprights. I don't know.
Back-to-back time-consuming drives for Portsmouth. Both times has resulted in points, and what seemed like it may be a long game now. Already 4 minutes to go here in the second quarter.
Well, again, I think that was all made possible by really Portsmouth choosing to kick when they actually showed going for it, which did what? It kept Lucasville from putting return people back to cover the punt, which is, a good sound move. They end up with the ball on the 17 or 18-yard line, move them back a couple yards after 2 or 3 plays. But the kid kicked the heck out of the ball, and they end up having to put a 55 or 60-yard drive together. But and to tell you the truth, the problem now is Lucasville's defense has been on the field most of the second quarter.
Zach Roth on to boot it away for the Trojans right at their own 40-yard line on the left hash. Aiden Wattell and Gabe McNeil, the two Indians, back deep for Valley. And it'll be Wattell up the right side on the numbers, and he'll be brought down right at their own 30-yard line, which is where Valley will start off this drive.
Now, what Valley has to do, again, to me, of course, it's always nice to score. And they always talk about 2-minute drives and 4-minute drives. They really do need to put a 4-minute drive together. And they don't have to go score, but the worst thing they can possibly do is go 3 and out here again and let Portsmouth have a chance, a halfway decent chance to score again. So, yeah, it'd be nice to score, but you certainly want to make a couple of first downs and roll this clock a little bit.
What started off as offensive fireworks has turned into mostly Trojan football since the 10-minute mark of the first quarter. This Valley offense looking to change that here. Fakes the handoff. Powell dumps it off to McNeil. He's brought down behind the line of scrimmage by Alex McKenzie. That'll push the Indians behind the sticks.
Again, a good, safe, you can call that a pass play, but to me that's a running play. And Alex McKenzie wasn't having any of it. In fact, he tackled him even before he was tackling him before he even caught the ball. In other words, that play fooled no one.
2nd down and 15, under 4 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Powell.
They got a problem.
Dumps it off to the right side to number 9, Wattell. He's brought down. Or excuse me, number 8, Zach Witt, came out of the backfield. Dylan Sanderlin on to make the tackle for the Trojans. It'll be 3rd down and 12.
And I can tell you what, right now, when they look at the film on that, I mean, that's an outstanding open field tackle. If he don't make that play, he might still be running, because they had a play.
3:24 to go. 3rd and long here for the Indians. And it appears we may have our first timeout of the night.
Well, let's face it, Lucasville, 2 completed passes, and you're in a 3rd and 13, which tells you, again, and they scored on a long bubble screen. So the vertical passing game is obviously not their strong suit, and their quarterback is a freshman kid. So, I mean, this is ideally, this is not what, if you're Portsmouth, ideally you've got them right in your crosshairs. But if you're Lucasville, you can't play yourself into these type of situations. And I don't think there's any question that Lucasville will try some type of controlled passing, screen, 3-step drop, quick stuff, and see if they can get a busted tackle or something. But I'm going to guess that Portsmouth's going to end up getting the ball back here with really, really close to 3 minutes in the game, or 3 minutes and a half.
First time out of the half for Valley. Portsmouth still retaining all 3 of theirs. We'll see what the Indians come out with, facing a 3rd down and 12 on their own 28-yard line.
Well, if I'm betting, I'm going to tell you that they're going to run some type of sprint out or boot to the field to try to move the pocket a little bit to create some time and try to flood the fielded area. Which actually gives him not only the pass option, but gives him the run option. And there is trips to the field. So if I'm right, he's going to run full sprint out to the right. And Portsmouth is in straight man.
Powell looking to his right side, airing it downfield to right out, not able to connect. It'll be a 4th down and 12 for Valley. Looked like right out may have had a step on him, but just wasn't able to come up with the catch.
Well, the ball was wide and a little bit short. And again, if you're a wide receiver, that's the toughest catch, is the ball that's over your head and over the wrong shoulder. He tried to make that play, and here we go with 3 minutes, 2 seconds. And Portsmouth again, unless this kid kicks it again well enough, they're going to end up with the ball somewhere around close to midfield.
Jake and right out on to boot it away here for the Indians. Nearly hit a low-lining kick. It hits right at the 30-yard line, picked up by Chase Highland. He returns it down the near sideline, pushed out of bounds right at midfield, which is where Portsmouth will take over with 2:51 to go here in the first half. They'll be set up on the right hash, looks like right at the 50-yard line.
So they're giving him the plus 49. And I actually thought he got pushed out on the minus 49. Again, if you're Portsmouth, everything you got in the bag is in play, because plenty of time, run, pass, do what you want.
High formation with Levon Cobb and Chase Highland behind Cameron Williams, who's under center, fakes the handoff to Highland, rolling to his left, ducking to dump it off to Levon Cobb, who came out of the backfield. Nothing there for the Trojans. 2nd down and 10.
Again, not an accurate throw. Tough to make that play. You know, toughest throw in the world for a right-handed quarterback is when he's moving to his left. But again, I think the kid had space if he pulls it down. I think he had a 5, 6, 8 yard gain even before contact. The problem I have is now now it's 2nd and 10.
Second down and 10 for Portsmouth. Cobb in the backfield with Williams.
Unbalanced.
Fakes the handoff to Cobb. Takes it himself. Williams down the sideline. You can forget about it. Touchdown, Trojans.
Again, unbalanced. Back set to the unbalanced side. They run that zone read concept away from the unbalanced, run the quarterback right into the unbalanced. And again, if they're playing flag football, he scores easy. And believe me, it's not that easy.
Trojans going to go for 2 once again. Dumps it off. Copley, nowhere to go. He's taken down by Gabe McNeil. So the 2-point attempt is no good nonetheless. Portsmouth out in front, 24-7 with 2:37 to go here in the first half. We'll take a quick break. You're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio.
Michelle and her dad. Decades of dares. 1 month of learning to jump. First day doing it solo. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie and Son Trucking. Willie and Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willie and Son Trucking each week at SOSAOhio.com.
24-7 lead here for the Trojans. Looking ahead to next week, Portsmouth stays in the SOC2 as they travel cross town to take on the Senators of Portsmouth West, a game we got to see here last year at the Coliseum. And as for the Indians, they'll take on Chesapeake back home at Lucasville Valley. The kick is away to the right side, and it'll trickle out of bounds. That'll draw the flag, and I believe that'll start things off on the 40-yard line for the Indians.
Again, if you're Valley,
it is the 35-yard line on the right.
If you're Valley here, again, you don't necessarily have to score, because I think if you get goofy here, you may end up giving up a cheap one here. But I think you want to be able to establish a little bit of something here before you go into halftime. And if I'm not mistaken, Valley does receive the second half kickoff. Bubble screen.
Powell looking to his left, airs it out. It's nearly picked off by Caleb Johnson, incomplete.
That should have been picked off. Uh-oh.
This pass is once again nearly picked off. This time it was Nick Copley.
Yeah, I think Nick wishes he had that back. He tried to Randy Moss that bad boy. I think if he puts his other hand up there, he's still running. Again, with the man concept here, you don't beat man concept by running vertical. You got to get across the field. You got to separate.
3rd down and 10. Powell looking to pass once again, looking for Vice
That's
down
great
the sideline. Nice
Absolutely
defense.
outstanding coverage.
By Caleb Johnson. 4th and 10 for the Indians. Still 2:25 to go here in the second quarter.
Yeah, Caleb Johnson was having none of that. He looked like, what's the kid that played for the Niners, but he played for Seattle all those years?
Richard Sherman?
Yeah, he looked like Richard Sherman. At least he did to me. But here, again, nightmare, because now you're going to turn around and kick it again with 2.5 minutes to go. And Portsmouth with another opportunity to score if they choose to.
Right out, boots it away. It's like Highland will catch it on his own 20, back to his own 15, now back to the 20, out to the numbers, and out of bounds right at the 33-yard line, which is where the Trojans will take over with 2:14 to go in the half.
Okay, if you're Portsmouth, what do you do here? Oh, you definitely try to score. You score here, you make it very, very difficult for Lucasville Valley at halftime. And you got 2:14. And again, you're sitting here at the minus 33. I mean, I think you're going to see a little bit unbalanced. I think you're going to see a little bit of boot and a little sprint out here. But again, I think they've got options. As far as I know, they got all 3 of their timeouts.
High formation here for the Trojans. Copley and Highland handoff to Highland to the left side. Spins off a block across the 35-yard line. Pick up a 5. That'll bring up a 2nd and medium.
Yeah, I'd be getting on the ball
Trojans.
here is what I'd be doing. I would not be huddling up. Great opportunity to practice your 2-minute offense. But again, they could be content just to let the clock tick out. Personally, I'd be looking to score.
Williams in the gun, Copley to his left.
Quarterback's going to keep this to the trips, watch. Yeah, see?
Williams to his left side has Copley lead blocking tackle.
Not a first down, so the clock
just
will
short
keep
of the
ticking.
first down by Gabe McNeil. Looked like Zach Witt was in on the play as well. That'll bring up a 3rd down and short for the Trojans.
Again, Portsmouth's
1:17
choosing,
to go
I'm
in the
going to
quarter.
assume that they're really not trying to score because, oh, now they've called a timeout. Okay. But here's the problem that I have with that. Why did you wait 20 seconds to call a timeout?
First timeout of the half for the Trojans, still hanging on to 2 of them, as is Valley. In P-Town tonight, tomorrow night, we set up at Waverly as the Tigers look to start off their year with a win, as does their opponent, the Miami Trace Panthers. A 42-39 game a year ago at Miami Trace. Hopefully that game will be as high scoring and as competitive as it was a year ago.
Well, I can tell you this, having been a Waverly Tiger, regardless of a lot of things, the Waverly community supports their athletic program like really very few. I'm not saying there isn't, a couple around, but there will be a crowd there tomorrow night, a boisterous crowd.
3rd down and 1 here for the Trojans. Copley in the backfield. Williams rolling out to his right, under some pressure, taken down for a sack. That's Zach Witt on the play. Taken down right around the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th and long here for Portsmouth.
Lucasville calls a timeout, which they should have.
Second timeout of the half for the Indians, still hanging on to their final.
And again, probably Portsmouth with an opportunity there to drive in the first nail, but probably a little too conservative. And I'm not sure their goal there was to even score as much as it was maybe to run out the clock. But I mean, I think it was a great opportunity, a great possession. to try to practice your 2-minute offense, you know, and they obviously weren't doing that. They weren't on the line or any of that, so.
Portsmouth seemingly not going to punt, but I would expect.
Oh, no. They did the same thing
Williams
the first time.
will set up here for a pooch punt as it is 4th down and 10 on their own 33. Nearly blocked by Tristan Wood. Back deep is number 9, Aiden Wattell. And this one will take a valley bounce back towards midfield before being downed by Wesley Runyon. Indians offense will start off on the 44-yard line, 58 seconds and 1 timeout remaining.
Again, if you're Valley, you know, again, I don't think you start running, you know, flies and fades and stuff, but again, try to establish something here.
Powell in the gun, looking to his right, looking for McNeil, running out of time, out of the pocket, and eventually taken down. That's number 51, Alex McKenzie, on the play.
It's about 8 seconds difference in the clock, so they got to run a play.
2nd down and seemingly 30 yards, officially 25.
And that was going to be a bubble screen.
Valley comes out in a 4-receiver set, 1-man backfield alongside Powell.
Oh,
He'll air it out downfield, looking for Wattell, incomplete and out of bounds.
If old Kingston Littlefield turns around, that ball probably would almost hit him in the back of the head.
Now 3rd down and a mile here for the Indians, 11.4 seconds remaining.
What do you do here, Dewey? You run a running play, and get the heck out of here. Unless Portsmouth wants to call timeout.
Same formation here for the Indians. Powell,
same thing.
back to pass, looking downfield
That's
for Wattell. This time he makes the grab, breaking away. Wattell down the sideline, yes sirree. A Noah Brown type catch on the Valley sideline results in a 71-yard connection between Powell and Wattell. Flags are down. We'll see what the call is. It'll be on the Trojans. Play will stand. What a play for the Indians.
Christmas in August.
A chance now with time expired for the Indians to double dip going into the second half, as they will receive to open up in the 3rd quarter.
Wow. I'd love to see that play again. Did the ball hit? It had to have hit the Portsmouth kid and bounced up in the air.
He caught it. He pinned it on his back.
Oh, he caught it from his back. Wow. I thought it didn't bounce up in the air. I mean, all I saw was the kid from Portsmouth trying not to interfere, which he obviously did.
Valley looks to try for 2 here on the point after timeout, Portsmouth. Just like that, Valley not going away. They're right back in it.
Now, let's see if Portsmouth called timeout because they were in a 5 wide to the right side. And obviously, I couldn't tell fast enough because they called timeout. One of those guys had to be on the line. Or 2 of them had to be on the line, actually. So not all 5 of those guys were eligible receivers, but I can assure you there was going to be some shenanigans to the right. Now, we'll see if Valley stays in that formation and that play. I'm going to say no. I'm not actually even sure why you're going for 2. I'm not sure what.
Regardless of the outcome here, it would still be a 2-score game. It's either going to be 11, 10, or 9.
Well, they stayed in it.
So you figure take the extra point and kick it to 10.
Now, here's what I am going to tell you. 54 is an eligible receiver. You see him? Don't be surprised.
Powell catches the snap, flips it over to McNeil. Close to the goal line, driving to it. And he's got it. So that cuts the Trojan lead down to 9 as we head to the break. 24-15, Portsmouth leading. We'll step aside and come back with all of the stats from the first half and more after this. You're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio.
There's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon. That's the slogan, and that's what we believe at Parmar stores. From groceries to gas and all the other stuff you need, Parmar has it. Download the Parmar app for even more savings, and don't forget the Parmar Rewards Card too. We also believe in being a big part of your community, so look for us at the ball game or wherever you are. Shop us today, like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and remember, if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
This presentation of high school sports on Southern Ohio Sports Authority is brought to you in part by your local McDonald's. McDonald's proudly supports all area athletes again this season. Visit your local McDonald's in Chillicothe, Circleville, Greenfield, and Waverly, and be sure to check out SOSA's newly relaunched podcast, Overtime, presented by McDonald's.
All right, welcome back in here to Southern Ohio Sports Authority's broadcast of the Portsmouth Trojans hosting the Valley Indians. I'm John Bruce stepping in for Dewey Daly here at halftime with Tim Daly. Just a quick rundown. Statistically, Portsmouth, after the first possession, really seemed to dominate the game up front until the last play of the half. for Valley, they have 129 yards total offense with 144 coming through the air, and almost all of that coming on 2 plays. So before that 71-yard touchdown pass to end the half, Valley had completed 4 passes for -1 yards after the first play of the game.
Well, the fact of the matter is, again, if you watch the game, I mean, Valley's had 2 successful plays. Bubble screen and a Noah Brown catch over in front of their own sidelines. And I'm not saying they didn't earn those things. I think the more sound play was the bubble screen. The Noah Brown thing, if the DB kid, and I won't mention his name, but if he turns around, the ball hits him right in the teeth. And actually, the play before, if he turns around, the ball would have hit him right in the teeth. Very, very fortunate if you're Lucasville Valley to have the points that you have right now, for sure.
Yeah, and while they are fortunate, they also get the ball to start the second half. So any life that they were going to have, it had to come there right at the end of the half. And it looked like Portsmouth was bringing some pressure also, because I think they were trying to at least force a punt, and maybe something crazy happens to end the half, but it happened the other way.
Well, they adjust. They come out in cover 3 and got beat on the bubble screen because they're simply outnumbered. Then from that point on, they've played some version of man coverage, and the success of man coverage is, you've got everybody covered, and that pretty well shut down what Lucasville Valley's quick passing game was trying to establish. Now, you can't account for what happened over here. You just can't account for that. That's a once in about every 5 years type play. But I'm saying Portsmouth, the one thing that they have done is Valley has established nothing offensively so far as possessing the ball or running or throwing or whatever. Portsmouth really has played pretty well defensively. And again, part of that might be things that Lucasville Valley's having a difficult time doing. But again, they've had a couple chances, like I said, when it was 24-7 and they had the ball with 2.5 minutes to go, and really no sense of urgency, no 2-minute offense, nothing on the line, nothing there, and they end up kicking the ball back to them, and then that happens.
Yes.
So, again, I'm not 100% sure I would tell you that the game is up for grabs, but I can tell you, right before the half, it was looking like we'd have a running clock in the second half without even a small doubt, probably sometime middle to late third quarter. Now, Lucasville's going to come out and possess the ball, but again, they haven't hurt Portsmouth, first and 10, from their own 30 or 35-yard line. They haven't been able to put 6. In fact, what do you have first down?
They have 0 first downs.
0 first down. So, I mean, if you're a football person, and even if you're not, do you understand how can you have 15 points with no first downs? Well, you just saw it. Because I could, if you asked me that question before the game, I'd tell you can't.
Right.
Unless you have a punt return or a pick six or something like that, you're scoring. But if you tell me you have 15 offensive points and no first downs, I'd tell you to roll up another fatty, because that ain't happening, because it's not happening.
Right. So going to the running game for Valley, they have ran it 5 times with only 1 of those being for positive yardage. Was a Gabe McNeil 3-yard gain, but overall they are minus 15 rushing, so they haven't been able to establish that. They're 6 of 12 passing for 144 yards.
But take away, what was the total of the 2 plays?
Besides the 2 plays, they are 4 for 10 passing for -1 yard.
That's what I'm talking about. They've had 2 plays.
Yes. So
now those count just the same, and they're not giving them back. But I'm saying, wow, that might happen once a year, and it happened in the very first half of the first game.
Yeah.
So I mean, you figure it out.
Yeah. One of the big things though for Valley that's been a positive has been Jakin Rideout on his punting. I mean, he had 2 for 42 yards and a 47-yarder near the end of the half. So, if they get into a field position game, maybe not tonight, maybe later in the season, he's going to be a big weapon for them.
People don't understand sometimes. Just like with Portsmouth, you'd say, Tim, they're up 24-7 with 2.5 minutes to go, and they get the ball in about the minus 35. They're just going to run the clock out. No. Perfect opportunity to coach a 2-minute drill. Perfect opportunity to coach a 2-minute drill. You only get those chances twice a game. First half, second half. A lot of people think that only happens in the fourth quarter. Is it raining?
I think it is.
I'm looking over here, and that rain's coming down pretty good, too.
And I just looked at our camera, and our camera's getting a cover put on it right now by Carson Francis.
It's a good thing we're sitting inside, ain't it?
Yeah, because I think we originally thought we may have been outside. So we'll get this covered a little bit better.
But I know, do you have time of possession just has to be just the other way.
Yeah,
like
time of
80-20 or even 90-10.
Yeah, time of possession-wise, I mean, Valley's first possession was 10 seconds.
And they scored.
They scored. Then about 2 minutes after that, about 2 minutes. And
because they're not making first downs. They're not making first downs.
Yeah, so they've had the ball about 8 minutes so far, as opposed to the 16 minutes of Portsmouth. Right. A lot of that was on that 14-play, 13 running play drive, only 49 yards on it.
And they only got three points
out of it. Yeah. And there's been there was 3 flags thrown. One was picked up on that one that pass interference. So it's not like Portsmouth's hurting themselves.
No, it's been a fairly clean game. It has.
Yeah. Now for Portsmouth, you're starting a freshman at quarterback in Cameron Williams. He's been pretty sound so far. He hasn't had to throw the ball a lot.
No.
But he hasn't made bad decisions.
No,
and that's the biggest thing as a freshman.
Aren't both quarterbacks freshmen? The kid at Lucasville sophomore.
Yeah. So for Williams, he's 3 of 5 for 17 yards, but that's not where he's hurt Valley. Where he hurt Valley was that 49-yard run.
Into the unbalance.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%.
He's ran the ball 9 times for 61 yards, including a touchdown.
And his running was not an accident. That kid has decent speed. He has good vision. He ran where the play was blocked. And that's what happens when you do what you're coached or taught to do.
Yeah, I wonder if there was lightning also, because the Portsmouth band is scrambling.
I didn't see any.
Yeah. But
I hope not.
I hope not too.
Yeah, that's awful.
Moving on, Chase Highland with 14 carries, 108 yards so far, 2 touchdowns. He's got 2 catches for 11 yards. He's been dynamic for the Trojans, running the ball. Nick Copley, who...
Well, I think those 2 kids, to me, are clearly the best 2 football players on the field. Yeah. I do. And with Copley being a junior and they're both juniors.
Yes.
That's going to be a nice pair for them to have next year. Yeah. And they're going to win some football games with those guys this year for sure.
Yeah, they've got a nice line up front. They're doing a good job getting the yardage. They have 187 yards rushing on the day, so 204 yards total offense so far for the Trojans. And, overall, we mentioned Copley. He's done it a lot defensively. He's got a real nice pass defense. He's got a couple tackles for loss. He's kind of flying around the wall. Yeah. Also, I believe, sorry for a second here. Alex McKenzie has a sack for 15-yard loss, another tackle for loss. He blew up a play in the backfield on a 3rd and short. And then on the outside, Caleb Johnson, only a sophomore, number 22, has done a really good job in pass coverage. He's been more on the near side of the field, had a couple passes to defense, had a nice tackle for loss as well. So Portsmouth doing a good job overall defensively. It's just those 2 big plays, and they adjusted well off the first one.
And again, Valley to me too defensively. Let's face it, in my opinion, for what it's worth, it isn't like the Portsmouth, has pounded Valley with the running success that they've had. They've out-formationed them a few times, and let's face it, between Williams, Copley, and Heelan, those 3 kids, that and you throw Williams in there, those might be the best 3 athletes on the field. So nothing to be ashamed of. But again, I think Lucasville has held their own physically up front. They need to. And again, I know sometimes I make this simple, but when somebody goes unbalanced, all you have to do is kick everybody over a gap towards the unbalanced. And obviously, Lucasville has done that late or hasn't done it at all, and Portsmouth has hurt them with that. The funny thing about it is I don't think, just like in this last possession here, or the next to last possession, or the last possession that Portsmouth had, we didn't see anything like that. I just don't understand why you would treat 2.5 minutes of a half as a run out the clock type of situation when you're ahead.
Yeah, like you could borderline bury them at that point.
Well, it's if nothing else, you can go out and learn something about what you may be able to do in a 2-minute situation where you're down a score or in a tie game, and not at the end of a half, at the end of a game. Why you wouldn't treat that as an opportunity to drill that? And here's the thing. I can tell you this as a player and a coach. Last 2 minutes of the game and a half are critical so far as momentum. If you're able to be successful in those things, I know with the group of kids that you graduated with, we couldn't wait. We knew 2 times a week we were going to get the ball in the last 2 minutes of a half in a game, and those kids were very good at what they did, and we had great success doing that. Why? Because we worked at it. We had a good package for that, and we had 5, 6 pretty good athletes to run that with, and a quarterback that could get the ball out and on time and accurately, and we were very successful doing that. But why? The only reason I can tell you, in my opinion, that they didn't run some type of 2-minute, some type of hurry-up offense, they haven't practiced it. They haven't practiced it.
I was gonna say,
they haven't spent any time in camp practice. They haven't done it. They can't do it. At this point, they can't do it.
Now, do you think that's where maybe only having the 2 scrimmages now? Because it used to be 3, wasn't it?
No. I think it's just you got so many things that you think are important to do that you script into your practice, and sometimes you forget about the teeny tiny little things. Now, let me tell you something. Where we put the most emphasis on that in our practice plan was on Thursday night, which was nothing more than a dress rehearsal and a small script on both sides of the ball, all special teams and everything like that. But the thing that we finished off at least 3 or 4 times in that script, that practice script, was a 2-minute offense. And I can remember, and I'm going way back when, and if you're still listening, back to your senior year when we won a game in the last few seconds against Piketon, I remember distinctly that Steve Welch, when I went out on the field and said, Steve, we had the balls about the 12 or 13 yard line with about 15 seconds to go, and the first thing Steve says to me when I walk out there is, Coach, we just did this a day. We just did this. I said, the same plays? I said, yeah. He said, same thing? I said, yeah. I said, did we score? He said, yeah. I said, well, then let's go score. Yeah. And obviously, a few plays later, Dwight Everhart catches a pass in the front left corner of the end zone, and we end up winning the game. But if you haven't seen it, you haven't been there, you don't know what it looks like, you don't know what it feels like, you can't do it. Just like Dewey and I did a game 3 years ago, same thing, Piketon and Zane Trace. And Zane Trace and Piketon was about an even match. But they got Zane Trace led the whole way. But at the very end of the game, Piketon ended up with the ball at about the 10-yard line with about 3 minutes to go, and they were getting in the huddle. Now, it was week 1 of the conference schedule, but that's week 4. And they still had they weren't prepared for any type of last possession of the half, last possession of the game. And I'm sorry, maybe when I played in high school football 100 years ago, that wasn't very important. If you don't have that in your bag of tricks, you've dropped the ball, because think about this. Not only can you use it the last 2 minutes of a half, you can use it as a change-up to your offense to create, something different for the defense to have to defend. And we did that with Ricky and Joe and those guys. And again, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I think that to me is, especially today with all the film and the everything is streamed and all this coaching stuff is available, and the Mike Leaches and the Hal Mummies of the world and stuff, and all these guys, the Ryan Days. I mean, are you not watching those other teams play? Because that's very important stuff. But
well, and I also think that a lot of coaches will communicate, like if you're a newer coach, they'll let you know what they're doing as well, because coaching is a kind of a brotherhood as well. Maybe you're not going to help your rival immediately, but you probably have a buddy that has done it before. You can call up and say, hey, coach, what do you look at in the preseason? And they're going to help you go, hey, this 2-minute stuff is really important.
Just like I'll tell you a little story that really doesn't have a lot to do with what we just talked about, but a couple years ago in the scrimmage, and I'll just tell you, Dewey was playing in the scrimmage, so you can kind of figure out the rest. And they run a hook and lateral in a scrimmage. Now, the crazy thing about it is it scored. But you're doing that in a scrimmage. I don't understand. And if here's what I'm going to tell you. If you don't understand that I don't understand, I'm going to tell you, you don't even know what you don't know. You don't even know that you don't know, so you can't possibly know. Those things, you just showed that in a scrimmage.
Well, and then also, as you talked about the 2-minute offense, if you just show a couple things right there, that's going to take some time in the locker room for the opposing team to even have to discuss.
John, I'm going to tell you something else. Yes. But it's also going to take your next 9 opponents, and it's something they got to factor into their scouting report and their game plan. And sometimes you do show that. Just like, and I'm going to throw his name out there, and I hope he is listening. We ran the option from time to time in 2002 with Ricky Schiffko. He wasn't no more an option quarterback than Jared Lorenzen. You know what I'm saying? He had the big arm and the whatever, but we showed it why. Well, number one, we had a 900-yard tailback that could, anytime he touched the ball, could take it to the house. But we wanted them to have to spend time defending it. Now, we ran that play probably 3 times a game, but we ran it every week so the people would have to take, whether it was 5 or 15 minutes of their defensive practice and say, hey, when these guys come out here, they can run the speed option off this. You got him, you got him, you got him. We weren't going to run the play with any kind of purpose other than to keep people honest enough. When we got in it, it allowed us to do other things. That, to me, is coaching. That's coaching.
Yeah, and it's something that, through years, you kind of perfect things. When you're a little newer, that's where you got to reach out and get some help, and then you just learn on the fly. I know, coaching basketball and baseball, it's like you almost feel like you do learn something new all the time. But if you're not learning, you're regressing. And that's where
there's no question. If you're not, like I went to the University of Nebraska's football camp in 2001. I drove 19 hours to Lincoln, Nebraska. And you know what I got from that camp other than meeting Frank Solich and Turner Gill and some great guys. And I can't remember the name of the offensive line coach that was just – and Boyd Epley was still their strength coach. And if you know anything about strength training, Boyd Epley was the man back in the 90s when they were winning national championships. But I came back with a new way of pitching the ball on the option. That's it. We went from the 1, 2, 3 and flip it underhand and kind of spin it out in front of a guy to just making a basketball pass right on him. Now, you say, if I can't show you, you may not understand what I'm talking about, but it's a way more effective, more accurate, faster. The other thing is
it's
it allowed
easier to catch.
Well, it is easier to catch, but what it really did, too, was it allowed the quarterback to attack the middle of the defensive end rather than his outside shoulder. So it created more space for the tailback, plus it made the defensive end more honest to defend the quarterback when he ran, because if he was going to run before, he was probably going to run outside. Now he became a threat to run inside, because now he's pitched it, he sticks his hand out there, you step that way, you just created a gap. Now, and I hope he's listening, Ricky's not going to get a whole lot of yards through. Now, Matt Hoops will get you some yards, and Chris Trainer will get you yards, and Jared Hanks will get you yards. Ricky's going to get you 3 or 4 yards. The other kids, they could run with the football. So I mean, but I don't know. I don't know. I see sometimes, when I come to a high school football game, I see so many things that I could just. But again, no one likes a know-it-all. No one likes a guy that wants to tell everybody how smart he is or whatever. Maybe some people view me as that way. If you know me, you know I'm not. But I'm saying, if you're just listening and you don't know who I am or know me very well, then maybe you can take some of the stuff that I say the wrong way. I can assure you, just like with Ricky. Ricky knows that I love him like one of my own sons. I mean, that kind of thing, and I can say that to him. But I won't let anybody else say that about him. You know what I'm saying? He was a 4.5 40 and a Division I athlete, but I can say to him whatever I want, because that's the type of relationship that I had with him, and still do.
And he had a cannon. I'm sure.
And he did have a cannon. He did have a cannon.
Does.
And I'm sure he still does.
Yeah. But we are getting ready to close out halftime, so I'm going to turn it back over to Dewey, who's going to have to call in the second half. Once again, 24-15 right now. Portsmouth leading Valley at the half.
See everything Southern Ohio Sports Authority presented by Ohio Health has to offer by visiting our website at sosaohio.com for complete coverage of area athletes and teams, including game stories, features, live streams of games, player and coach interviews, nightly scores, area standings, and much more. You can even view and purchase action photos from our more than 100 galleries. That's sosaohio.com for the best local sports coverage around.
Are you in a bind and need an oil change right now? No problem. Did you forget to make an appointment? No problem. Just stop by any Glockner location and we'll squeeze you in and get you on the road quickly. Really, it's
And I mentioned all 5 of my quarterbacks.
24-15 is our score as we get ready to kick things off in the second half. Big thank you to John Bruce for providing the halftime show here at Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health. Has been keeping stats for us all night, and I didn't get a chance to listen in, but I'm sure it was dropping some hardcore knowledge and statistics on you during that 10 minutes.
It got pretty deep around here, believe me.
Valley set to return the opening kickoff here in the second half. Senior Zach Roth on to boot it away. Gabe McNeil as well as Aiden Wattell are back deep for the Indians. And we are underway here in the second half here in P-Town. Wattell catches it right in front of his own 15 before being hit hard by Trevin Brooks. He'll be driven back to the 27-yard line, which is where we'll start things off here for the Indians. Started to get a little bit of rain right at the beginning of halftime, and it's let up a little bit. And when you look at the radar, it looks like it may be a little hit or miss. If you look towards the lights, you can see it is coming down just a little bit, so it'll be nothing heavy, but slightly light rain, hit or miss here for the rest of the contest. Nonetheless, 1st and 10 here for the Indians on their own 27.
Little pistol.
Handoff right up the middle. That's faked, and instead it's Powell who pulled it and was looking for right out on the far sideline. Incomplete, even had me fooled. That was Zach Witt straight up the middle, who appeared to have taken the handoff, but nonetheless it'll be 2nd down and 10, 11:49 to go here in the second quarter, or excuse me, the second half.
Again, for a quick second I thought he gave it off too, but I'm looking at the rest of the play. But I think that's exactly what Lucasville needs to do, is try to establish the run so they can throw.
It's Powell and Witt in the backfield. Powell drops back to pass. Under some pressure, he's got Brendan Weiss over the middle, but he can't come up with it. Passes incomplete. Would have been close to an Indian 1st down. Instead, it's 3rd and 10.
I think Brendan would like to have that back. That's by clearly the best and most accurate throw that Powell's had tonight. And if you noticed, again, with the man coverage, those were horizontal routes. So that's the only way you're going to separate. You can't, if you've ever stood back there and thrown balls to a receiver that stacks the DB, that's a tough throw. It's a tough throw.
3rd down and 10
straight man
on the Indian 27. McNeil motions across the line of scrimmage, low snap, dumps it off over the middle. He's got right out. Ball is loose. It'll be incomplete. Back-to-back plays for the Indians where receivers had the ball for a moment and just could not hang on. 4th and 10 for Valley.
Again, if Mr. Rideout takes that ball and he gets it secure and pulls it down, and again, a 1st down. Again, a pretty accurate throw. And again, a horizontal route. I still would like to see Valley try to at least act like they want Portsmouth to think they're going to run. But instead they get a quick 3 and out, and Portsmouth could be in business here quickly.
22nd 3 and out. Right off gets the punt away. A fair catch by Malone. He will pick it up before being
That's not a penalty.
Tackled after the whistle. It wasn't really clear what the...
Well, here's what I'm telling you. Once that ball bounces, I think the fair catch is off, and they're going to call that he called a fair catch. You can't fair catch a ball on the bounce. He's got to pick that up. He did pick it up, didn't he? They're not even going to acknowledge that they even threw a flag. Yeah, how can you blame the guy from Valley for tackling the guy? The ball hit the ground. All bets are off. Wow, I'm not sure about this.
It's an illegal use of the hands on the Indians. Did not quite get the number of the player, but nonetheless, it'll be 1st and 10 Portsmouth.
Well, that's the spot. Right. He's saying, the Valley coach is right.
Head coach Nolan Crabtree in his second year as the head coach for the Valley Indians. Spent some time as the offensive coordinator prior.
You can't fair catch a bouncing ball. Oh, wow. And if the kid catches it on the bounce and runs with it, is that a penalty?
So a nearly 20-yard, I believe it's a 15-yard penalty on the Indians following a 30-second 3-and-out. Trojans will now start off on their own 48-yard line. 11:30 to go here in the third. Williams a pitch to his right side. That's Highland who's taken down behind the line of scrimmage. Tackled for a loss. That's number 8, Zach Witt, on the play. Two-yard loss on the play. Now 2nd and 12, Portsmouth.
Right eye.
Pistol formation here as Livingston
Unbalanced.
motions across the line of scrimmage.
Everything left.
Handoff to the left side. Highland once again to the hash, now out to the numbers, now to the far sideline. He's got some room down the Valley sideline before being pushed out of bounds. He's got another Portsmouth first down and inside Valley territory.
And again, the problem that creates is that Valley doesn't adjust to it fast enough, and they've got everybody blocked. And then what happens there, the tailback dips in, he creates space outside, and that kid's not pulling any plow. But the key is they flop to it every time.
New set of downs for the Trojans, Cobb and Highland. The backs for the Trojans. I formation here for Portsmouth. Fakes the handoff to Highland. Williams rolling out to his right. He'll keep it himself across the 40-yard line and some yards after, nearly
run
to the 35-yard line. He's got a gain of 4 yards. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 6.
And again, the strange thing there is they're not running a flood package. They've got a tight end and a running back.
Second down and 6 for the Trojans on the Valley 37. Two receivers to the left as Livingston motions to the left. Got a handoff to Highland. He bounces it outside, cuts it back up across the 30-yard line, close to another Trojan first down.
Well, it's really close. Have to wait till he puts it on the ground. It's not a first down.
Highland comes up about half a football short of the first down, looking for the 29. They've got him right at the 29 and a half. Third and inches here for the Trojans. Cobb and Highland remain in the game for Portsmouth. Livingston across from left to right. Williams, the handoff, that's Highland. He's got the first down and more. Across the 20-yard line, shedding tackles, crossed the 15 and taken down right at the 11-yard line. Another first down and another strong run for Chase Highland.
Absolutely strong run. That's a man run there.
Trojans now threatening once again into the red zone. Ball marked at the 11-yard line. Still not first and goal, although extremely close, and it looks now they are marking it as
it's
first and goal. They got him on the 10.
quarterback this way.
Williams to his right has lead blockers across the 10, cuts it up to the 5. And they'll mark him just about half a yard short.
Looked like he scored to you.
So Portsmouth now will be forced to run at least one more play here. Second down and goal for the Trojans.
Look for a bubble. A little bit of a bubble there over right guard.
Williams keeps it himself. That's lineman on lineman. Touchdown, Trojans.
They haven't kicked yet, have they? They faked it the first 2 times. This is the first time they've kicked.
Zach Roth on for the point after. 1 for 1 on a 27-yard field goal earlier. This time, he splits the uprights once again as the Trojans take a 16-point lead over Valley. We'll take a quick break. You're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
At Ohio Health, you can see your doctor here or here, on this or on these. And no matter if you're over here, over there, or anywhere in between, you'll feel good knowing Ohio Health provides the finest care anywhere. Schedule care today at ohiohealth.com/finestcare.
Here at Glockner's, we know how valuable your time is, and that's why our priority is to provide you a quick and easy service. We will get you in and out and on your way immediately. So schedule your next service appointment at Glockner.com.
Something citrus, something.
31-15 with 8:13 to go in the third quarter. Following the touchdown and point after, Zach Roth on to boot it away for the Trojans. McNeil and Wattell back deep for the Indians.
You know.
Roth boots it away, back deep. Wattell will grab it and retreat to his own 3, now across the 15, running up the Indian sideline. He's got a little bit of space before being forced out of bounds at the 34-yard line. Valley will look to find the end zone for the first time this half.
Okay. What are you going to do here, fellas? I think you have to try to establish the run. I do. I think you have to try to maintain the ball. I think you try to have to, if not for today, for next week or the week after.
A quick 3 and out to start off the second half. Valley now with their
jet sweep.
Second possession of the quarter.
Faked it.
Powell connects over the middle to Nick Queen. About a 4-yard pickup on the play will bring up a 2nd down and 6.
Again, they've shown the run action off that. That's the first time we've seen a little play pass. But again, a 5-yard play, which I mean is something that they can build off of.
Second down and 5 here for the Indians. Handoff McNeil to the right side. He's got some room across the 40, 45, 50 into Portsmouth territory before being forced out of bounds right around the Trojan 30-yard line. A big gain from Gabe McNeil. That puts Valley in striking distance.
And again, that's the fellow that took a little bubble screen to the house, just a sophomore. To me, a twitchy kind of player.
51 carries for 320 yards and 4 touchdowns a season ago. Clearly with limited opportunities now with the 2022 class gone. A lot more opportunities for McNeil coming his way. Here's another one. He'll take this one to the right side across the 30. He's got another first down and is pushed out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Move the sticks for the Indians.
Now, my question is, has Lucasville found something here? And again, it may not result in a win tonight, but it may get them 2 or 3 wins the rest of the season.
Head back home next week to take on Chesapeake. The Trojans will travel across town to take on Portsmouth West. Powell once again, McNeil breaking tackles across the 20-yard line. He's got a pickup of 7.
Again, for the 3rd consecutive play in a row. We would just call that trap at 6 or counter 6. And I mean, that kid's got an element of toughness about him too, because he's always playing with his weight over his feet. And he's always landing on his front. You'll earn a tackle when you tackle him.
McNeil, a 70-plus yard receiving touchdown in the opening drive for the Indians, now powering them in this drive here. Over the middle to Rideout.
No.
Pass is complete. In the red zone now are the Indians. Inside the 10, that ball being marked on the 7, 1st and goal Valley. First time inside the 10 for the Indians tonight. Powell handed off. McNeil. He's got some room to the right side. Cuts it up into the end zone. Touchdown, Indians.
Again, just a simple pull the play side guard, hand it off to the backside back, get on his hip, make yards. I mean, they ran that play probably, 5 or 6 times that drive. And it started off with the long, first time they ran it, they got, made the 20 or 30-yard run.
On that drive alone, 4 carries for 51 yards and a score for Gabe McNeil.
What was the total yardage on that drive, Johnny? About 65, 58. 68. Yeah, so 51 yards.
Timeout Valley.
51 yards on 4 plays. Same kid, same play.
Chance here for the Indians to make it a 1-score game, given a successful 2-point attempt.
And I will give, the Valley kids, and this game is far from over. I mean, Portsmouth has had chances to drive nails and just hasn't done it. But I really like what Lucasville was able to do with that drive, and don't think they didn't find something. So if they can get a stop and a score, we're going to have a football game here. We're not quite at that point right now, but if Portsmouth doesn't put some plays together and at least flip the field, don't be surprised if we don't end up getting in a little bit of tighter situation than we are. And listen, with 5:49 left in the 3rd quarter, this game isn't even close to being over with. And I think right now Portsmouth's kind of a little bit asleep at the wheel, and they don't realize that this could get serious in a heartbeat. And they're going for 2. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why. Why? Oh, 8. Okay, yeah, that makes it a one-score game. But again, I'm looking at the time in the quarter.
Wildcat here for McNeil.
I promise you this is a running play. He's only taken it 2 snaps.
McNeil, trouble with the snap, out to his right side, being brought down by Alex McKenzie. 2-point attempt is no good. It'll remain a 2-score game with the Trojans out in front, 31-21. We'll step aside. You're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Michelle and her dad. Decades of dares. 1 month of learning to jump. First day doing it solo. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie and Son Trucking. Willie and Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willie and Son Trucking each week at SOSAOhio.com.
A 68-yard drive capped off by a Gabe McNeil rushing touchdown has kept Valley right in this thing. Only a 10-point spread here with 5:49 to go in the quarter. A halftime score from, I believe, the only other game in our coverage area, Philo and Athens. Philo out to a 14-0 lead at the half. That is over the Athens Bulldogs, one of 2 Thursday night games in Southern Ohio Sports Authority's coverage area. Although we have all hands on deck for us here tonight, along with my dad and myself. We have John Bruce on hand with Carson Francis on the camera. Brock Netter and Derek Webb are also on the field with pictures and presumably a post-game interview as well. So if you're interested in that, check to either Sir Brock Netter or Derek Webb on Twitter following the conclusion of the matchup. Jalen Bender, a pooch kick. It's caught by Kingston Littlefield, who has a bit of a return here before being pushed out of bounds on the Valley sideline.
You know who that is, don't you? That's the kid that had the ball caught off his back. So he can catch it. No, that kid's athletic. And that kid's, he is a junior. I thought he was a sophomore too. I like that kid.
Ball officially being spotted at the Valley 39. So Portsmouth starting off this drive about halfway into Valley territory.
Just not sure why you kick it to that kid. Okay, unbalanced right. No adjustment.
Williams takes the snap, handoff Highland. Bounces it outside, now at the numbers. He's up the sideline, he's got some space. Highland to the 10, pushed out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. A big-time run there for Nolan Highland. Or excuse me, Chase Highland.
Again, unbalanced right, basically handoff sweep. You know, hat on a hat, athlete in space, that's what you get.
First and goal here for the Trojans. One play, all it took. High formation with Copley and Highland.
I say you give Copley a touch here.
Williams hands it off to Copley. We have a flag on the play.
And well, that's honestly, other than the pass interference on the one call, I can't even remember. How many penalties, Johnny, on the night? 3 penalties the whole night. What do they call them, Dewey? Procedure?
Legal procedure on the Trojans.
I know we had an offsides. I know we had a pass interference and that. You're telling me that's it? Okay, not a big deal. It's first and, it's still first and goal.
First and goal from the 14-yard line for Portsmouth.
Pistol.
Williams rolling to his left, dumps it off. Highland to the 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Trojans.
push comes to shove, what do? You put the ball in the hands of the best player you have.
Chase Highland's third touchdown of the night.
How many? First? Oh, third. Yeah, no. That kid's a player.
Has the Trojans out to a 16-point lead here. We'll see what they do on the PAT. Snap is good. Roth splits the uprights, and the lead is now to 11. 38-21, Trojan leading. We'll take a quick break. You're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
There's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon. That's the slogan, and that's what we believe at Parmar stores. From groceries to gas and all the other stuff you need, Parmar has it. Download the Parmar app for even more savings, and don't forget the Parmar Rewards Card too. We also believe in being a big part of your community, so look for us at the ball game or wherever you are. Shop us today, like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and remember, if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
This presentation of high school sports on Southern Ohio Sports Authority is brought to you in part by your local McDonald's. McDonald's proudly supports all area athletes again this season. Visit your local McDonald's in Chillicothe, Circleville, Greenfield, and Waverly, and be sure to check out SOSA's newly relaunched podcast, Overtime, presented by McDonald's.
Following the 14-yard receiving touchdown for Chase Highland, Trojans are out in front, 38-21, under 6 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Zach Roth getting ready to boot it away. Kick is caught behind the 15-yard line. That is Wattell. Or excuse me, that is Rideout, who reverses field a couple times, still on his feet before eventually being brought down just short of the 25-yard line, which is our quarterback Carson Powell, and the Valley Indians will start off this drive.
Now we'll see if Portsmouth can make an adjustment here, and see if they can stand up a little bit, because I can tell you that last possession, Lucasville schooled these guys. Now, if you're Lucasville Valley, is there any question what you try to do here?
1st and 10 on their own 24.
Well, it's man.
Powell and McNeil open up in the backfield for Valley. Powell hands it off. McNeil to the right side, across the line of scrimmage, and some more across the 30-yard line. A pickup of 9 yards on the play. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 1 for the Indians.
Just making sure everybody got up. Yep, I thought it was Powell. Let me tell you something, too. That play wasn't blocked all that well. He got most of that on his own. Or not Powell, but McNeil.
So as of now, Gabe McNeil off the field. We'll see how that progresses as this drive continues.
Oh, that kid's just a sophomore, too.
2nd down and 2, under 5 minutes to go here in the quarter. Valley on their own 32.
Bubble.
Zach with the back, fakes the handoff to the outside. That's Weiss. Ball is caught and tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Nice play by Caleb Johnson.
I mean, is either team even playing with a senior? Defensively, 1 senior for Portsmouth.
Coming into tonight, Valley does not have a senior on the depth chart, as that 2023 class graduated a lot. 3rd down and 8. Powell back to pass, airing it out downfield. He's got Rideout, and it's incomplete at midfield. That'll bring up a 4th down and long.
Nice play in there, center fielder Landon Malone breaking that up. And I can tell you, he was open. If that ball was thrown more on a line, that's a completion. That ball just hung up there long enough to allow him to roll over on him.
Good news for Indian fans as McNeil is back on the field for the punt. This one away from right out. Highland calls for the fair catch right at the 41-yard line, which is where the Trojans will take over with 3:40 left in the quarter.
Well, again, here is the second opportunity, I believe, for Portsmouth to drive a nail here. I mean, they have been somewhat in control the entire night, but just can't get enough space. Here's their second opportunity to create some really good space.
First and 10 on their own 41. Portsmouth out in front, 38-21. Williams the handoff. That's
God.
Highland once again being drugged down by Zach Witt, not before picking up 4 yards on the play. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 6 for the Trojans.
Great block at the point of attack by the left tackle. I mean, that was a decleater. And McNeil is back in there, so he must have just got the wind knocked out of him or caught one in the grape juice.
Williams hands it off right up the middle. This time, Levon Cobb has the first down and about a yard past that. Be a new set of downs for Portsmouth. First and 10 on the Valley 47. High formation here for the Trojans, Levon Cobb and Chase Highland. Fakes the handoff to Highland, rolling to his right is Williams. He'll keep it himself, look to gain anything, and I believe he's out of bounds. Right at the line of scrimmage, so it'll either be a 2nd down and 10 or 2nd down and 9 here for Valley, or excuse me, for Portsmouth.
Again, just the old kind of, if you want to call that a waggle or a counter boot, whatever it is, they've ran that a few times. Haven't ran the counter very much, but they've run the counter boot a few times.
Same formation this time with Nick Copley, who gets the carry right up the middle, pickup of 2. Zach Witt on the tackle for the Indians. Trojans now faced with a 3rd down and 8. Pistol formation with Copley back to pass. Williams dumps it off to the left side. He's got Highland, makes one man miss across the 40 before being drugged down by Gabe McNeil right at the Valley 30-yard line. Another 1st down for Portsmouth.
Again, a great effort play there again by Gabe McNeil, who's an outside linebacker sophomore. If he doesn't make that play, I think he gets in. I think he goes to the house. And he's coming from the backside.
Handoff to Highland to the right side to the hash. Now out to the numbers across the 25-yard line. Cuts it up past the 20 and is brought down just short of the 15-yard line. Another first down run for Chase Highland. What a night he's had.
Johnny, is he over 200 yards yet? 195. How many carries? About 21? Yeah, I thought maybe 15. Yeah, he's definitely a workhorse. And he's going to make 200 yards. I can assure you of that before the day's over. In fact, he may make 200 yards on this play right here.
Highland out of the game. Nick Copley and Levon Cobb, the two backs in the Trojan backfield.
So my boy Copley got moved back to tailback. He's going to get a touch.
Copley to the left side across the 10-yard line and brought down just short of the first down marker.
That's a man running the football right there.
Now under a minute to play here in the third, 2nd down and 1 for the Trojans.
I'm giving the ball to Copley again.
Handoff up the middle. That's Levon Cobb running people over and is brought up just short of the goal line.
Yeah, he didn't get in. But
regardless, gets the first down for Portsmouth. So now 1st and goal in between the 1-yard line and the goal line.
Did Cobb stay in there? Cobb stays in there. I'm giving him the ball. Yeah, he stayed in there. Let that senior score.
After 3 here in P-Town, it's the Trojans 38-21. We'll take a quick break. You're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
See everything Southern Ohio Sports Authority presented by Ohio Health has to offer by visiting our website at SOSAOhio.com for complete coverage of area athletes and teams, including game stories, features, live streams of games, player and coach interviews, nightly scores, area standings, and much more. You can even view and purchase action photos from our more than 100 galleries. That's SOSAOhio.com for the best local sports coverage around.
Are you in a bind and need an oil change right now? No problem. Did you forget to make an appointment? No problem. Just stop by any Glockner location and we'll squeeze you in and get you on the road quickly. Really, it's
12 minutes left to play in this Thursday night Week 1 matchup between the Portsmouth Trojans and the Valley Indians. Chase Highland, 21 carries for 195 yards, along with 4 catches for 40 yards. What a night he's had through 3 quarters.
Well, I don't think there's any question that he's proven to be the best football player on the field tonight.
Copley and Cobb make up the
Gotta
Trojan
give the ball to
backfield.
Cobb here. You got to give the ball to Cobb. There you go.
Hand off to Cobb up the middle.
He's in.
And he's got 6.
Yeah. That's a good coaching move too. Let your senior get a score like that, and you know he's not going to get a whole lot of work probably throughout the year, but be able to score there in the first game, I'm sure that I don't know that that's his first career touchdown, but that's something that kid will remember for a long time. And he's getting congratulated by a lot of his teammates. He's probably a great kid. And I can tell you right now, they don't have the slot covered.
Roth on for the point after. This would make it a 24-point spread here for the Trojans with a little under 12 minutes to play. Kick is up, and it is good off the scoreboard.
Yeah, for sure.
45-21, Portsmouth leading. We'll take a quick break. You're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
At Ohio Health, you can see your doctor here or here, on this or on these. And no matter if you're over here, over there, or anywhere in between. You'll feel good knowing Ohio Health provides the finest care anywhere. Schedule care today at ohiohealth.com/finestcare.
Here at Glockner's, we know how valuable your time is, and that's why our priority is to provide you a quick and easy service. We will get you in and out and on your way immediately. So schedule your next service appointment at Glockner.com.
11:54 remaining here in the fourth quarter of this Thursday night Week 1 matchup between the Portsmouth Trojans and the Valley Indians. It's been Portsmouth for 6 straight matchups, looking to make it 7 here tonight. And as of now, out in front by 24, leading 45-21. Roth on to boot it away for the Trojans. McNeil and right out back deep for the Indians. Right out catches it at his own 13-yard line, now across the 20-25, and is brought up about 2 yards short of the 30-yard line, which is where Carson Powell and the Valley Indians offense will take over.
Again, if you're Valley, still a lot to play for here. I mean, you know, again, the chances of being successful tonight probably aren't. That's probably not realistic. But again, you can establish some things. I think they found a running back if they were looking for one, or at least a kid they want to get the ball. And really, physically, I don't think Portsmouth physically has dominated this game at all.
1st and 10 on their own 29-yard line. Powell, bubble screen to the left side. He's got McNeil across the 30-yard line and pushed out of bounds just short of the 35. It'll be a pickup of 5 or 6 yards on the play. That'll bring up a 2nd down and medium for the Indians.
Again, just a simple bubble screen and trying to get the ball to the best player that you have, and you know, a gain of about 5.5, almost 6 yards.
Second down and 5 on the Valley 34-yard line. Powell in the gun. Hands it off. McNeil to the left side. Immediately brought down. It looks like Alex McKenzie as well as Noah Livingston were in on the tackle. Peters Dylan Sanderlin was in there as well. It'll be 3rd down and 6 for the Indians. Powell back to pass, looking down the left sideline for Vice. Incomplete. No, it's intercepted by the Trojans. That's number 4, Landon Malone. Flag is down. Malone returns it to the Valley 35-yard line. There is a flag on the play.
It's coming back. They're going to call interference on Caleb Johnson. There was a small bump there. I don't know. I mean, you can call it, I guess. He impeded him more than he interfered with him, but it's coming back. And you can see Mr. Johnson's not too happy either, and I'm not sure I'd be real happy either. There wasn't a lot of contact, but it was enough.
Pass interference is a spot foul, not an automatic 1st down, but given that the penalty was about 15 yards past the line to gain, it will be a 1st down for the Indians. Although now it did not appear to be a spot foul, as it seemed
No, that's about where it happened.
Nonetheless, 1st and 10. Powell airing it out downfield. He's got right out. It is caught. Back-to-back plays with Indian 1st downs now inside Trojan territory.
And again, what creates that is the fact that McNeil has been successful running off of that type of action. So it freezes people. You get people at the level 2 and in gaps, and the quarterback makes an accurate throw. That's a great catch, too, by the way. I mean, great catch. And he didn't tuck it right away the way he should have, but he did get it down, and he absorbed a pretty good lick and hung on to the ball.
25 yards on the Powell to right out connection. 1st and 10 on the Trojan 27. Powell hands it off. McNeil to the right side across the 30 and is brought down just short of the 25.
And again, same run action there that they had the previous play, except he pulled it out, throws it in the backside seam. So again, those things fit together. How many touches McNeil had? He's had to have 25 touches or more. He's had to have 20 or so carries, 15 carries, 11 carries and 4 receptions. Wow, thought he had more than that. He's been their offense.
2nd down and 9 on the 26. Powell looking to pass, dumps it out of the backfield. That's number 8, Zach Witt. He's got the 1st down and more into the Trojan red zone territory inside the 10. He's brought down right at the 5-yard line.
I mean, again, that's what happens when you end up with a linebacker on a running back and you got a little bit of mismatch speed-wise. You get him in space, and, you know, that's good coaching right there.
Like we have a balloon trickling down
Not
onto
anymore.
the field, picked up by our
umpire.
Umpire back towards the 25 on the right hash. Good job by Carson Francis to pick that up on the camera. 1st and goal on the 4. Hand off to McNeil. He bounces it out to the right side. Under some pressure, looking for the goal line. Trucks over a defender. Count it for 6.
I mean, that's our man McNeil.
What has been a running back dominant game on both sides so far just got 6 points heavier.
And again, you don't understand, too, especially a young team. Give Valley some credit for hanging in here and just slugging it out with these guys right to the very end. And I realize there's still 9 minutes to go in the game. But, you know, Valley realizes there's still a football game going on. And, again, chances of being successful tonight aren't that great. But down the road, sometime these types of things will pay off. Quarterback this way.
2-point attempt here for Valley. 4 receivers to the right. Powell throws it to
What a
his
great
left
throw.
side. Nice grab by Brendan Weiss. 2-point conversion is good, and the lead is cut down to 16. We'll take a quick break. You're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Michelle and her dad. Decades of dares. 1 month of learning to jump. First day doing it solo. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie and Son Trucking. Willie and Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week presented by Willie and Son Trucking each week at SOSAOhio.com.
A 6-play, 71-yard drive capped off by a Gabe McNeil 4-yard rushing touchdown, along with a successful 2-point conversion.
Now,
from
I want you
Carson
to look.
Powell
I want you to
Brendan
look
Weiss.
at Portsmouth. They think this is going to be an onside kick, and I doubt it. It's going to be a little poocher. Oh, it is? I mean, I guess.
Kick is recovered on the right side, numbers by number 4, Landon Malone. 1st and 10 from the Trojans at midfield.
I mean, I guess you got me on that one because I guess Portsmouth had their hands team on there, but with 9 minutes to go and down 18 or 16 points. I don't want to hand the ball to him on the 50-yard line. It's my problem. And we don't have any clean shirts out there.
Freshman quarterback Cameron Williams remains in the game. Chase Highland only 5 yards shy of a 200-yard rushing night. Nick Copley in at the fullback position.
That guy's offsides. He's offsides like a big dog. He's really offsides. His hand's offsides.
Williams, the handoff to Highland across midfield. He's got
There's your deuce.
just at 200 yards rushing on, I
You give him
believe,
6,
22
Johnny?
carries.
Yeah, that's 201. 201 yards.
Along with 4 catches for
Oh,
40
they moved
yards
it back
and
a yard,
3
Johnny.
touchdowns.
Now it's 200 right on the nose. Wow. Ripped him off a yard. But I promise you, he's going to carry the ball in this play, too. Little ram eye.
2nd down and 5 at
Oh, no,
the
it's unbalanced this way.
Valley
Unbalanced
45-yard
this way.
line.
It's coming left. Yep, for sure.
Pitch to the left side. That's
See
Highland,
ya.
who's got some room across the 35, down the sideline, 45 yards. Touchdown, Trojans.
I guess that makes it 245, Johnny. So that puts him up at 295. No, 285 multi-purpose.
4 touchdowns on the night
He's going to have 300 yards before the night's over.
for Chase Highland.
And again-
285 total yards, 245 on the ground.
I mean, you're going to see they run unbalanced to the boundary, and Copley had one guy to block, which was the outside backer. He got in his stuff, and Highland did the rest. And he ain't pulling no plow either.
Roth on for the PAT, has been perfect so far tonight.
Wow. How was that not blocked? Those guys about knocked each other out.
52-29, Portsmouth leading. We'll step aside. You're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
There's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon. That's the slogan, and that's what we believe at Parmar stores. From groceries to gas and all the other stuff you need, Parmar has it. Download the Parmar app for even more savings, and don't forget the Parmar Rewards Card too. We also believe in being a big part of your community, so look for us at the ball game or wherever you are. Shop us today, like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and remember, if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
This presentation of high school sports on Southern Ohio Sports Authority is brought to you in part by your local McDonald's. McDonald's proudly supports all area athletes again this season. Visit your local McDonald's in Chillicothe, Circleville, Greenfield, and Waverly. And be sure to check out SOSA's newly relaunched podcast, Overtime, presented by McDonald's.
52-29, Trojans leading with 8:14 to go in the 4th quarter. What a night Chase Highland has had. 245 unofficial rushing yards, along with 4 catches for 40 receiving yards, 4 total touchdowns. A 52-29 Trojan lead here in week 1. Roth on to boot it away. McNeil catches it right at his own 20-yard line, now across the 25 before being drugged down at the 26-yard line right at midfield.
Looks like Uniola. Rocket.
Powell back to pass. Over the middle, it's caught. Now incomplete. Looking for Blake Lundy up on the left hash. Be incomplete, bring up a 2nd and 10.
That looked like a tired football team, that play.
Second down and 10 on their own 27. Powell back to pass once
off.
again, airing it out downfield, nearly picked off. It's Nick Copley, Landon Malone, as well as number 12, Leland Skurlock on the coverage. To bring up a 3rd and 10.
That might have been his best throw of the night. That ball had some zippity-doo-dah on it. Problem is, it's 3rd and 10.
Just under 8 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. Powell to his left, looking for McNeil right off the hands. And incomplete. That'll bring up a 4th and long.
Yeah, they're gonna have to kick. And to tell you the truth, Portsmouth did not have McNeil covered. That could have been, might have been a play. Guy came over way, way late.
High end over end punt. Fair caught by Malone. Makes a diving grab around the 45-yard line. The Trojans will take over with 7:46 to go here in the 4th quarter.
Might see some clean shirts this time around. No, quarterback staying in. And our boy Highland is still in there too.
Highland and Levon Cobb, the 2 backs in the Trojan backfield. Cameron Williams under center, handoff to Highland right up the middle. Pushing forward, pick up a 4 on the play. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 6 for Portsmouth.
And just isolation play, just kind of an old school play. And again, if you're Portsmouth here, you're certainly not looking to score. You just want to keep the clock wound and make first downs, keep moving the sticks.
Williams, the handoff up the middle. That's Levon Cobb on the carry across midfield. That'll bring up a 3rd down and short here for Portsmouth. 3rd down and 3 on the Valley 48-yard line. Under 7 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter.
Again, it wouldn't surprise me again to see Highland again here.
Williams, the handoff. That's Highland looking for the first down. He's got it in 3, 4, 5 yards past the line to gain. Pickup of 8 yards on the play for Highland. First down, Portsmouth.
I was going to say it's about time to give him the rest of the night off. Go get you a drink, kid. Go get a splash.
Over 250 rushing yards, close, I would say, to 300 total yards for Chase Island. 4 touchdowns as well.
And the thing of it is, you know, Copley, there's not a whole lot of difference between him and Copley. Copley plays the fullback most of the night. If it wasn't for Highland, it'd be Copley. And they're just letting the play clock come down.
Levon Cobb in as the middleman is
Uh-oh.
Copley all the way back. Cobb takes this one across the 30 and the 25-yard line. A big-time run for the senior that moves the sticks for Portsmouth. First down and 10 on the Valley 25. High formation here for the Trojans. Handoff.
Uh-oh.
This time Copley busts it out to the numbers across the 15, streaking to the end zone. Count it. 25 yards to the house for Nick Copley, his first of the night.
Again, you've got a tired defense and a guy that doesn't get to play a whole lot of tailback, so he's not going to get those deep carries. He didn't want to get tackled. And Lucasville's, they're pretty tired. So this kick starts I wasn't too far off.
Rothon for the point after, splits the uprights, and the lead is now to 30. 59-29, Trojans leading. We'll take a quick break. You're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
See everything Southern Ohio Sports Authority presented by Ohio Health has to offer by visiting our website at sosaohio.com for complete coverage of area athletes and teams, including game stories, features, live streams of games, player and coach interviews, nightly scores, area standings, and much more. You can even view and purchase action photos from our more than 100 galleries. That's sosaohio.com for the best local sports coverage around.
Are you in a bind and need an oil change right now? No problem. Did you forget to make an appointment? No problem. Just stop by any Glockner location and we'll squeeze you in and get you on the road quickly. Really, it's
59-29, a little under 5 minutes to go in this one. Portsmouth out in front big time.
Well, I actually think, people are going to look at this score and they'll say, whatever. But you know what? If you were here, and granted, Lucasville had some really nice things happen, fortunate things happen for them, scoring-wise. But the play on the field, Lucasville really doesn't have anything to be ashamed of. They played hard, and they played to the final whistle. And I'm sure these last 4.5 minutes, they're going to continue to play hard.
Wattell on the return, brought down just past the 20-yard line. Looks like the ball may have come out, and the Trojans have it.
We better see a new quarterback here. Nope, he's in there. Copley is in there.
Only other quarterback on the roster for the Trojans, junior J.T. Williams.
What's his number? Yeah, they're going
13.
Cobb, but I don't know who the tailback is. Oh my God, Highland's in there. And again, Lucasville probably doesn't have enough personnel really to sub themselves drastically into a level 2 or a reserve type setting. But, to tell you the truth, with a running clock, Portsmouth probably only has to make one first down to run that clock out. Because as soon as they set the ball for play here, or as soon as they snap the ball here, that clock's going to start. And the between, oh, 25 seconds. Okay. Well, it just depends. 1 first down, maybe 2. And if you're Lucasville, let's play hard. Let's finish this thing up the right way. But they took them both out. They took everybody out, Dewey. We got clean shirts. Was 12 the second team guy?
Number 12, Leland Skurlock in under center. He'll hand it off right up the middle. That's number 31, Fernando Paxes.
And he was in a 4-point stance, unless my eyes need checked. Now, if you're Portsmouth, you're just kind of laying back. I'm not even breaking the huddle till about 6 or 7. And I can assure you, these guys out here, their heart rate's gone up a little bit for sure. Look, he's in 4-point stance, Dewey.
Paxes once again clawing to the 20-yard line, brought down, pickup of 2 yards on the play. It'll bring up a 3rd and 8.
So that actually took about 50 seconds. Oh, my. Well, whatever.
Third and 9 on the Valley 20-yard line. This time the handoff to Dontavian Parker to the right numbers and brought down at the hash. Loss of 2 on the play.
Wonder if that's any relation to JoJo Parker. He was a great running back in the day for Portsmouth. I think went to Bowling Green, if I remember right. It's probably his son.
Pitch gets away from number 23, Zion Fro. Ball is loose. Valley comes up with it. Either way, being 4th down, it'll either be a turnover on the fumble or a turnover on downs for the Trojans. Valley takes over with 1:40 to go in the contest.
Where did you get this? Clean shirts on the other side, too. What do you figure? 2 plays.
Hunter Cunningham in the pistol for the Indians. He'll fake the handoff and keep it himself. Toss it to the outside to Nick Queen. He's across the 40 and pushed out of bounds at the 42-yard line, close to a 1st down for Nick Queen.
A really good, if that was by design, a really good looking RPO. On the line.
Now under a minute to play.
See, now that's coaching right there. See, Lucasville is ready for those types of deals.
Cunningham in the gun. Robinson to his left. Cunningham looking for Queen once again. It's tipped away by Fernando Paxes. There's a flag on the play. The pass interference on the defense. We do have a running clock, although it will stop for penalties.
And here's what I'm saying. Lucasville has their AYOs running from the line of scrimmage.
First and 10 on the Trojan 42, 34 seconds to go. Cunningham takes the snap, back to pass. There's it out to his right, caught by number 1. That's Braxton Conaway. They've got another first down.
They're going to have to hurry. They're going to have to hurry. They're going to have to hurry.
Clock now at 6.
They're not going to make it. They're not going to make it because they can't get the play in. They're not going to make it. They're not even going to call a play.
And that'll do it.
Yeah.
The Trojans 59-29 winners here in week 1, starting off their year as they have the last 7 now as they've beaten Valley 7 straight times here in week 1. We'll take a quick break. You're watching Ohio High School football on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
At Ohio Health, you can see your doctor here or here, on this or on these. And no matter if you're over here, over there, or anywhere in between, you'll feel good knowing Ohio Health provides the finest care anywhere. Schedule care today at ohiohealth.com/finestcare.
Here at Glockner's, we know how valuable your time is, and that's why our priority is to provide you a quick and easy service. We will get you in and out and on your way immediately. So schedule your next service appointment at Glockner.com.
Portsmouth 59-29 winners here in week 1 over the Valley Indians, but don't go anywhere as tomorrow night we'll have the Waverly Tigers as they host the Miami Trace Panthers in the first official Friday Night Lights weekend of the season. Now, for the stats from tonight's contest, we'll first start with Lucasville Valley. Quarterback Carson Powell finishes 12 of 25 for 208 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. Gabe McNeil, 12 carries for 56 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, along with 4 catches for 72 yards and a touchdown. And then Aiden Wattell had 1 grab for 71 yards and a touchdown to end the first half. 270 total yards of offense for the Indians, 229 through the air, 41 on the ground. As for the Trojans, Cameron Williams, 5 of 6 for 46 yards and a touchdown to go along with 13 carries for 73 yards on the ground and 2 rushing touchdowns. Chase Highland, 25 carries for 257 yards and 3 touchdowns, along with 4 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. So a 4-touchdown night for Highland. And then the other 2 backs, Nick Copley, 5 carries for 55 yards and a touchdown, and Levon Cobb, 7 carries for 32 yards and a score.
Well, I think, I can tell you this, I really believe Portsmouth has a chance, for a really nice season, especially as young as they are. And you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, but 24 looks like a great football season for Portsmouth. But yet I think there's plenty on the plate yet still. I'm not sure about the rest of their league and the non-league people that they have, but they were what? They were 6-4 last year and lost
7-5.
7-5. So they made it to the playoffs last year. So in fact, they won a playoff game.
5-2 in the OVC, losses to Gallia and Ironton, and then also lost to Ironton again in the playoffs,
those
but not before
yeah.
going on the road against Union Local and picking up a playoff win.
Right, and those aren't, and they lost. We know they lost to West Portsmouth because we were here, and we know how good West Portsmouth was. So really and truly, even the losses that they had last year was nothing to be ashamed of. They lost to really good football teams. I think this is definitely a conference caliber type championship team, and certainly a team that's capable of making the playoffs. Now it's way too early and you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but if you're Portsmouth, there's a lot of good things that happened tonight, and I think a lot of good things that's going to happen down the future. Now, if you're Valley, I think a lot of good things happened tonight for Valley. Number one, they never quit. They played hard right to the very end. Maybe the last possession or the last score that, or not the last one, but the next to last one, with about 7 or 8 minutes to go. I think Valley, that was a fairly tired effort defensively for them, and they just were worn down. But again, for the most part, they're turning around playing offense with the same people that they're playing defense with, and it's hard. It's hard. They don't have a huge number over there, and they don't have great depth. But give Coach Crabtree credit for having them ready to play, and they played hard. I think that they're improved. I think that they'll be more competitive in their league. I don't know that they can win a conference championship or anything like that. Maybe a little unrealistic, and probably the playoffs might be a little unrealistic. But I think a winning football season is well within their grasp.
For the Indians, they'll head back home next week and take on Chesapeake, where, as previously mentioned, the Trojans will head across town to take on the Siders of Portsmouth West in a battle for the city of Portsmouth. But as for tonight, that is all we here at Southern Ohio Sports Authority have for you. Along with Tim Daly, I'm Dewey Daly saying so long from the Trojan Coliseum. Once again, the final, Portsmouth 59, Valley 29. Have a great rest of your night.